Anybody want to discuss anything about the road closures that the select board has approved for the town? If you have any questions about them, now's the time to ask. We can explain anything. Okay.
Renee,
Yes.
do you mind just going over any changes that are for this year instead of, or that
Yep.
any changes from last year in comparison to this year?
Yep. So the only real difference in the road closures that this committee requested was we're not going to close the downtown area and do the street dance there like we have in past years. We're moving the street dance down to Bass Park, and we have a road closure down there that will be holding. We're going to have a band and food trucks and stuff down in the park. So that's our difference. And then some businesses are requesting to close the downtown monument area, and they can explain that better. That answer everything on the road closures? Yeah.
So can you go specifically to the road closure for what was requested for Friday night on the monument? Can you explain where that road closure was requested? What streets are getting blocked off?
I will let the people who, are you talking about the one on Friday night down by the monument?
Yes.
I'll let the people who requested that answer that.
Okay,
'Cause
that's fine.
that's not my closure, so I'm not gonna answer their questions.
Sure, I'll take a stab at it, and Jeff's here as well. From in addition, I'm James Butler, I'm here downtown Wilton. So our request for Friday night was to close down, just like previous years, right at the bottom of Prospect Street, right near the bridge, and then to High Street, essentially. Friday evening from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. The idea is we have some music on the patio Friday evening happening on the Square's property. Also, I don't want to speak for Jeff, but he typically extends his premise into the sidewalk area. So kind of going with last year's theme of closing it down for safety, but also for letting more people gather in areas where we just don't want a high volume of traffic. So it'd be closed from Prospect to High Street. Did I miss anything, Jeff?
No, that's same as the last, 4 years?
And of course, ensuring that we have at least a 20-foot width for fire lane access is contingent on police and fire's approval. We met on site last year. This year, the tent that we'll be utilizing will be a smaller tent that will fit entirely on the property, so you'll probably end up with 25 or 30 feet of width for emergency access there. Then as far as emergency access down Main Street, the movable A-frame signs are what closes it. So in the event an ambulance or fire truck or emergency vehicle needs to get through, between Jeff, myself, and other staff have been coordinating over the past few years, we'll gladly move those in the event they need to be moved. So nothing permanent is going to be installed. So if there are any emergencies, those can quickly be removed. And I think the last year before, we actually had an ambulance that needed to get through, and we were able to deploy those and move them pretty quickly, so it didn't delay any response or anything like that. Happy to.
Do we know where the road race is going to go this year?
The road races will be the same routes as they've been in previous years, at least the last 4 years that I've done it. The 1 mile race leaves Cushing School, comes out, heads towards the police and fire department, does the neighborhood across the street, and comes back to Cushing School. The 5K and the 10K both start at the town garage here on Weld Road, and they go up Weld Road. One goes off Colby Miller Road, down Orchard, and back around to the school. And the other one goes up to Pond Road, all the way down Pond Road, around the lake, and back to the school. So it will come down through downtown.
Okay, so are they going to go Canal Street rather than Main Street to get back up?
No, they were going to stay on Route 2. And then they come down Main Street, and they'll just run through. In previous years, we've just moved the barricades.
Okay.
Yeah, we just separate them a little bit, and then at the end, we let a police car that's following go through. And
Sorry?
yes.
My understanding of the original vote that I took as a select board member was that the closure was going to be the complete closure all the way to High Street, and the businesses, meaning folks like, the Square, Ambitions, and Casaleo, all were in agreement that this, that they agreed contingent upon the police chief and fire chief. So I've since heard that that isn't the case, that, not all the businesses were on board at that point there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as our request was the same as every year prior. Last year, we coordinated with Tom and Raquel regarding the tent and the closure. After that event, they stopped communicating, at least with me, and I think more recently they've been communicating with Jeff. Jeff reached out because we heard there might have been some concerns regarding that. So, I mean, we're happy to discuss whatever concerns that they have, but I haven't heard from them in regards to that. And what I recall from the meeting was contingent on police and fire. But in the discussion at the selectmen's meeting was also about like which businesses would benefit from a road closure. And we kind of discussed that every business that is selling goods that day, it's like their best weekend. So, we're not looking to impact Casaleos, or I don't know if there's any other businesses that had any concerns, but certainly looking to partner with any and all businesses to make sure it's a successful weekend.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, maybe I took it wrong, but when I was at the select board meeting, I thought that I had heard that, Casaleos was aboard and Ambitions was aboard, and so when I voted on, again, it could be just my misunderstanding, but that's what I voted, when I voted, that's what I voted on, is that I understood that, the major businesses that are typically open at the time are all on board. So,
Sure.
again, it could have been my misunderstanding, so.
And I definitely, maybe there was a misunderstanding, but what I recall was Selectman Sweat asked me specifically which businesses would benefit from the road closures, and I listed Ambition, Casaleos, The Square, the Chinese restaurant. How am I doing? Great.
All right.
That's what he said. So I think that's where the confusion came from. I did not intend to say that I spoke to Casaleos individually, or the Chinese restaurant, or the coffee shop. I was just listing some off.
Thank you, and that's probably where I probably drew the wrong inference, is that the businesses had a direct one, so thank you for clearing that.
Sure. And I just want to put it out there too, that last year, I reached out to Casaleos proactively and invited them to set up and serve food or whatever goods under the tent that I provided. So again, that meeting happened on July 28th in person, that I coordinated, outside of the committee with the fire department and police department and kind of the three businesses right there at the square. So again, I've always tried to be proactive and over-communicate. Just as of late, they have not been that communicative with me. But again, still happy to partner wherever we can to make sure it's successful for everybody.
So representatives from Casaleos wanted to be here tonight. They couldn't be, they had another event, but she did send an email, and Maria has that information, just what she wanted brought up for this meeting.
Yeah. So if I may, Renee and Jeff, I believe that you spoke with her, so.
Yes. Yep, that's
correct
true.
me if any of this is incorrect. So unfortunately she wasn't able to attend. Below are some of my thoughts. My only concern about the festival is the Friday road closure. I expressed my concerns at the town meeting on May 5th, and I've since had correspondence with Jeff. Jeff proposed an excellent solution, shrinking the closed area. So I'd like to request that detour signs be set up, directing traffic coming from Route 2 over the bridge down Canal Street and back to Main Street. At that point, cars turn right into Casaleo's parking lot or left to continue down Main Street. And there is a snapshot of the area if anyone wants to take a look at that.
So essentially, it's leaving like the fire lane, I guess I want to call it.
Open.
Open,
Yep.
so that Main Street would be closed, but that access point, like by Key Bank, that could get to the parking area for Casaleos would still be open. It's not going to be a lot of parking, but it would give them their to-go food, I guess. But I think it's still pending approval
Give everybody an idea.
from fire and police whether they think that's a good idea, because it is a really tight spot. There's a lot of people could be congregating in that area, and we're not going to have eyes on that road if it's not in our control. So if it's within our barricade, it's within our control. But if people are outside of that, that's not part of our duties at that point. So I would like to hear the police and fire input on the alternative plan. Just to make sure that we're not making it less, I think personally we're making it a little less safe, but it is a compromise.
Bill's gonna bring up the new map that you guys came up with for the road closure, and then we'll discuss a little more, that way everybody knows what we're talking about. Yeah.
Just if I may.
So, hold on, Keith
Sorry.
has a question.
Can Phil also bring up the original road closure map?
I was looking for that just now, I cannot find it.
Okay.
Well, the original would go from, wow, I don't know if
Do you wanna
can
come
zoom
up and
out.
point?
Well, it's from the corner of Key Bank straight across to like Mainly Scuba.
So,
That would be,
I don't know how much you guys are interested, but I'm gonna point it out, just, or not.
Give me a second.
there we go.
We have the technology.
Involved.
Where am I going? Nope. Oh, shoot, I hate when I do that. Used to be able to very smoothly zoom in and out, and they messed it up. So we can't do that anymore. There we go. Okay. Point away.
Alright. So, do you wanna come do it where it was your map? Or you want me to-
I mean, it's not my map, but I can.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll let you explain better where it was your.
so essentially, last year, we were closed, crosswalk on Prospect, or.
Just so people know, this is
just
where the
after
square
Prospect.
is. I know you probably can't see it well back there. This is the square, and Ambition's up there where the red circle is.
Right. So the road would be closed approximately here, so you can still go up Prospect. And then on the top side, if you can zoom up just a little bit, it would be like the corner of this building straight across, blocking all of Main Street. So what we are talking is allowing, basically going around the monument is still allowed. So traffic through here to the back side would be allowed. And then this line would be, I don't know, probably halfway through that, I guess, wherever your current barricade is. So it would still allow some access around the monument. Of course, there'll be tents here and who knows what else here.
And this whole section will have the Lions Club big tent up that they have for their pancake breakfast. So this whole area is filled with stuff as well.
Jeff, did they clarify what the purpose of that would be? It doesn't look like you're gonna be able to park much down there at all anyway.
I think it's just for the few parking spots that are along the
Yeah.
brook side.
When I spoke with her, she said it was for people who are coming in
Or
to get
handicap.
takeout or handicap people, so they could come in and, but.
That'd really be the only parking, because you wouldn't be able to park in front of Key Bank anymore. All those spots would be blocked.
But you're gonna be blocked anyway,
Yeah.
whether or not we do this or not, because you're not gonna, you're gonna have your barricade one way or the other.
Right.
It's not gonna be open.
One of my concerns with it is, once people go down in there and turn around, it's gonna create a traffic jam. People are not gonna be able to come and go, because if that's open, with nobody standing there saying, are you here for a takeout order? We're gonna have a line of traffic trying to find parking going there, and it's just gonna create,
A bottleneck.
yeah.
But you're not realizing it's a dead end.
Okay.
But Ken, last year, the conversations that I did have with Tom Cazaleos was specifically handicap parking. I think that's his concern again this year by the sounds of it. And what we did last year was at the very large intersection at Baltimore Prospect, I believe we advertised that there's handicap parking down there so they could get as close as they could without getting trapped inside, where the Lions Club tent is and their takeout area is. So, I mean, I think regardless of what we decide to do, I think that should be advertised as handicap parking, because that's been a complaint in the past couple of years since I've been on the committee. And having more handicap parking is definitely, a good thing, so. But I certainly support, whatever.
So can I ask about your setup? Because one of my concerns too is if we have that open, I mean, we've all on this committee have been at Blueberry Festival, we see how people drive, they don't pay attention. Is the back side of your setup towards that roadway gonna be open where kids can run under a rope or just run out in front of a car? Because it's gonna be dark. And people are thinking they're having fun, and people may not quite get that it's open this year.
For sure, yeah, to abide by Maine State laws as far as our permitted service area, we have to have it roped off. That's why
Is it gonna just be a
currently
single rope where a kid can run under, or is it like a solid wall?
It depends. Part of it, there's a plan I've talked to the code officer about in installing some fencing in that back corner area to kind of enclose where our addition is and dress it up a little bit. I'm not sure if it will, I'm hoping it'll be done before Blueberry Festival. But in front of that, where the patio is, that will be a roped off area for sure. So to answer your question, could kids and adults go out and over and under? Absolutely. So, and I agree that it is a bottleneck, but I mean, I'm happy to help wherever I can.
Yeah. Obviously, I want them to be able to, have access to Casileos and stuff. Safety is huge for me. Yeah.
So by closing it all off, you're hindering a business from doing their business, from handicap accessibility and takeout, because everybody goes to takeout there. And you're also, we've noticed quite a decrease in people buying chickens for the chicken barbecue. So much so that we've lessened the amount of chicken that we're cooking, because there isn't the, I'm assuming some of it has to do with the transit on that road. People aren't going by and seeing it. So there is not only Casileos, but there's also the
Right.
church fundraiser too that does get affected by this being closed.
Right. And the festival is definitely for all businesses, so, if we can find a solution that, works for everybody, that'd be great, but.
Could you close it off later at night? I mean, does it have to be at 5 o'clock? Could it be at 7:30 when most people have done with dinner and that sort of thing?
All my activities are happening on my property, so you could keep open Main Street's not gonna impact what I'm doing at all, so,
Likewise.
so
I mean, we're just trying to make it safer by
Yeah.
closing the street. I mean, I'm trying to do a little bit more of an event into the road. If we have to contract in, we will. We're trying to have some fun, and it is a festival. The road's been closed for many years, and, I don't think it's, and I see your point about the barbecue, but, some creative signing and promotion might help that.
I understand that too.
So, I don't think putting it on, on this closure is correct, but.
And also on Friday night, there is a way around the closure, there always has been. You can go up Canal Street and around, and that might need to be part of the advertising for the barbecue. Just let people know that that's,
You're definitely gonna have to put more signage on Canal Street, because a lot of people come from out of town and don't know that way.
Right.
Or they're afraid they're gonna get, cut off by the traffic for the boats and things like that on that.
Yeah.
Renee, if I may?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I'm up there and actually point to Phil, if you wouldn't mind bring that back up again. Please, thank you.
That's great.
Yep, right there. So the way that I understand it at this point here, by listening to this here, is that there's a couple different choices. That we could keep the entire road closure the way that the board has presented it and keep it closed. But then Casileo Pasta has voiced that will have a direct impact. Second is that there is a modified plan that basically keeps this section open but closes this off. Now, so that's number two. Number three is that there is no road closure. However, at that point there, we've got the square ambitions holding events, this being completely open, and people can go back and forth and cross at their own will, back and forth, is the third option. Am I wrong?
Are you saying leave it open and just let people cross the street with cars coming?
I'm saying, there's three options in front of us at this point
Right.
here. Option number one is to, if the select board continued with their road closure, it would close the road off. By doing so, the negative downside of that I could see personally is it impacts Casileo, and they've articulated that. So then we have the second option, which Jeff brought forward, which is basically partially closing off, keeping this open, but then folks have said, well, that could also present some sort of an issue if there's limited cars coming down here. And so, okay, well, if we don't do 1 and 2, and we just say we're not gonna do any road closure whatsoever, there's still gonna be, Ambitions Brewing is gonna have the event here. The Square's gonna have their event there. There's gonna be people milling around events here and there. If they're cross-pollinating, and there's no road closure at all, to me, there's no great option, but I wanted to point out that there's 3 options in front of, for me, I can see 3 options. And I just want to point out what the 3 options were that I was thinking of. That's all. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, and I agree that there are 3 options, but I just wanted to point out as far as road closures, like town road, town property, The fire lane access, that is emergency access, that is not town-owned land, just want to make that clear. It's owned by Kuzno and myself. So there's no town road that's going to be closed for that access way in front of the monument. So the road closure would only be the road closure on Prospect and High Street. So I just wanted to point out, if people didn't know where the property lines are down there, it's kind of confusing, but the town does not own any property other than Main Street and on High Street, Prospect Street. The rest of that is privately held.
The backside of the monument.
Yes.
I
Well,
I will say there's also a public easement by the monument, behind the monument there. But that's why we do the road closures.
just object that, I have the survey, there's no public easement through there.
Right on your survey, it says that there's
Apparent.
apparent. So it might be disputed, but there is
Yes.
an easement there that, is not exactly.
Sure, and Maria and I have met a few times, and it's on our never-ending to-do list as far as some encroachments on my land and town land, so that's never been resolved, and there was a proposal to give the town easement, but that was never executed. So again, happy to pursue that, so we could, again, I preference those conversations on, I don't want this to be an issue down the road, and it continues to be an issue down the road when I've offered to give the town the easement through there, through land swaps. So it's a great time for us to reactivate those, maybe Maria at some point, and chat about that.
Renee?
Yep.
I believe that the request specifically is for Main Street, is that correct?
Correct.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Right.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add to this discussion?
Okay, what about doing the road closure and then up at the top of Main Street, give Calvaleo 4 parking spots? Because they're losing about 4 parking spots, am I correct in that? The first 4 right
Yes,
behind the
like
square.
right here. is-
What if there's a way to give them 4 or more parking spots when you close the road off and put signs up on the top of Main Street by the old Key Bank and have them dedicated for Calvaleo?
This isn't my road closure. And so this is up to the town and the select board and whoever. But I think, that is a partial solution, but the people who can't walk that far, that's still quite a walk to get to their door. And I think that's what they're concerned about.
Yeah, my concern is people are gonna be walking in that road
Right.
without it being closed. And my recommendation would just have everything like it has been every year right there. Just because it's easier, for me, is staffing. How are we gonna staff 2 maybe large events with 3 people? It'd
Okay,
be easier for us just to control one.
because we had a meeting with town departments and
Yeah,
that
I was on vacation, I was
Yeah,
not in the state.
so that was not what we got for an answer. So, if you would like us to revisit that, we certainly can. I have not advertised our street dance or anything like that.
I think this is your committee's choice, but I would recommend having every,
Well-
I would definitely close downtown, because the hope is that all the businesses are getting tons of foot traffic, and it's a good
Right.
time, and we have not, last year we had no issues, and there was a ton of people, and it was great. And I hope, I'd love to see that continue. I don't want kids, adults, walking in Main Street, cars coming, because the drivers don't pay attention.
Okay.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Maybe there's some parking spaces up on Canal Street that council house could utilize instead. I could reach out to them and see if there's another alternative.
There's
If-
still an elevator there, correct? Yeah.
Well, see, originally I thought they had
Let's go
access
for the-
from a back door, but I guess they don't, is what I was told. So-
Not to get least the restaurant.
There's the stairs that go down that new patio that we
Right.
put in.
But again, if
But
you talk
it
about
would be-
mobility issues,
Yeah,
then,
the elevator doesn't go to the bottom floor,
Oh, it doesn't?
not to council
Oh,
house.
it doesn't.
And the stairwell's gone, that used to be there, right?
Yeah,
That's
this,
all taken over by Seniors Plus, correct?
so, I guess going back to you, Ethan, we've, started planning a different route. I have a band scheduled for Friday night. I'm assuming you have bands and things scheduled. So I don't know how you want us to proceed with that as far
I'm not
as.
asking you to change it, I'm just, it'd be a lot easier for us to control one group instead of 2.
Right,
And that's the thing, is my hope for everything is that a lot of people attend both. It's just staffing wise and controlling 2 crowds is more difficult than 1.
Right.
But I do think it should be closed down for people going back and forth between all the areas.
Sonny?
It's, well, the same thing, you know, there was so much traffic down there last year, and there wasn't too much of a problem. I didn't stand right there with the police, but from what I see, it would be easier to control, and I believe it would be as well for me to get through either way.
Would there be a way to have someone move a barricade if there's a handicapped person to pull up in there?
The Blueberry Festival Committee does not have enough people. We do not have enough
Yeah,
volunteers.
I'm saying Calzaleos. If
Right.
Calzaleos can have
I'm sure they need
Calzaleos.
all of their staff to, you know, do food and the things that they do. It's a busy weekend, and that's, you know, one of the issues is finding the help to pull all this stuff off.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, oh, I know,
I'm
I
gonna be
know.
pretty short that week, so.
Yeah. So I don't know, we were steered in a different direction as far as, you know, what police was recommending. So that makes it more difficult on you, I'm sorry, but that was not what we were told, so. Yeah.
Just, I think by offering, them, obviously want to address the concerns of Cazaleos. So I mean, maybe what Jeff said, offering them a few reserved spots on Canal Street or in that parking area. Also, again, like we did last year on Prospect Street with some signage for handicap parking. And maybe on the Facebook page and on Cazaleo social media, they can share to their customers their handicap or takeout, some special instructions. I think they had some last year that we shared, like some locations for handicap spots. So, I mean, and then if, you know, if I was Cal's and I had the same concerns, maybe post a phone number and maybe their hostess or somebody could come guide them in, like somebody was saying, to make sure that they safely make it in and have a good parking spot, and then they could go and, you know, visit Cazaleos. So I think by offering up multiple solutions, like Prospect Street, the Canal Street, and then some, you know, social media engagement from the committee, I think, you know, that would hopefully address their concerns.
How does that affect you, Ethan, as far as if we do set up designated handicap spots and they start getting filled by people who are not handicapped? What does that do to you guys as far as taking you away from where you need to be, dealing with parking issues?
Hope for the best.
Okay.
Renee?
Yep.
So, I'm not making a judgment call, just trying to understand, you know, the Blueberry Fest Committee put the downtown dance by Bass Park. So the rationale behind that, again, I'm just trying to get the full picture.
Honestly, a lot of conflict as far as what the town is allowed to do, not to do, what we can do on private property, town property, what insurance covers. There's a lot there. And then James likes to have, you know, a band and a stage. We can't have 2 different stages. Some businesses feel as though if the town or, you know, Blueberry Festival is paying for a band, it shouldn't be at one business's location. So there was a lot of, you know, things. I don't know if you guys have some stuff to add to that.
It didn't feel like a community event last year with the tent, the way that it was set up. Felt like a private event, and we feel that being down at Bass Park will draw more kids and families, and it's more family friendly than at a bar and with a tent, very private-like feeling.
Thank you.
So, and communication was really poor last year. Don't take this personally, but between James and the Blueberry Festival Committee, it was, we're getting a band. We'll let you know later, and just the communication was really poor, and again this year, so we think Bass Park would be a great family event.
Thank you, appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Just to add some context, and I'm not taking it personally at all, but I do recall last year the conversations where, hey, we have an idea, we brought it forward, and then a lot of it was kind of last minute putting it together, so apologies for that. But, you know, I'd love to make it more of a community event down there and not make it a private event at our restaurant, not a bar. We happen to serve alcohol. And I'd love to put the tent across the road and make it so it's impacting, you know, everybody in a positive light. So obviously, like Renee said, I agree, it's tough this day and age with insurance and whose property. You know, I had to add coverage insurance for the tent on my property and for the event. So I understand it's weird. You know, Jeff and I were talking a few weeks ago as well, and there's some things that sometimes that you're just better off to have private organizations do that will help promote the event, and I think we just need to find that groove that we are hoping to find, I think, all of us. So, you know, certain town funds are being spent on certain things like fireworks and things like that, but the town's purchasing policies and insurance kind of puts a ceiling on some things. So, you know, last year, you know, we took a huge risk, and it was super successful as far as nobody got hurt. We had no complaints that I'm aware of. Tons of people, one of the largest Blueberry festivals that I ever remember. So, I mean, I think as this committee continues and the Blueberry Festival continues to grow, I think we need to look at, you know, partnerships. And again, this year it's been kind of weird. The scheduling for the meetings was happening on dates that I just couldn't attend because I worked during the day. And, you know, to recently, this one's moved later in the evening where I can attend. So I certainly appreciate that. But, you know, I know, I'm speaking for myself, but I know I've talked to Jeff as well. And, you know, the downtown businesses, like, this weekend is the biggest weekend for everybody. And it's what gets us through the wintertime, you know, when it's slower. But any ways that we can help to make it bigger and better and not make it feel like it's private, but it's open, I mean, I'm certainly all ears. I'm sure Jeff is as well. So
Yeah, that and just the pride of the festival. I mean, there's been some years that it's been a little bit of a slump, and it's been picking up, and people are noticing that, and they're noticing it's a bigger and it's a more updated festival now. I'd just like to see it keep growing the way it is and be a fun event for the people attending it.
Yeah.
And yes,
I
it
think
does
that's
make-
everybody's goal.
That's what we all be here for.
But do any business owners here or organizations that are here have any input they want to put in on this aspect?
Road closure?
Just kind of like what we're talking about, making it a, you know, community event, you know, how we want to handle it moving forward in future years. No, okay. Do you have a comment on something?
No, I don't know, right now it's time to bring it up, but just something to think about with the porta potty placement, how do you say that, porta potty? You had asked us last year to put them at the end of the building, and that was fine, except that as kind of, we had regrets. So I've just thought about maybe possibly moving them around to the back of the building this year. I don't know if you want people going out behind there, if that's an issue or not.
And I don't think people would look for them out behind there either. We can look at other, we brought in extras last year. We thought we'd have an increase in volume because of the concert he was holding. So that's how they got put there last minute, but we can definitely look at different placement options this year.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them on the corner of my building either.
So are people gonna be able to park on Main Street? Is
We're
like-
talking about Bass Park, down
Right.
by the lake.
But I mean, like where the coffee shop is and our shop and, are people going to be parking there on Friday night?
Yeah.
That would be open, yeah.
That would be open.
Yep.
So from High Street down.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought.
Basically, what they're asking for is very similar to last year's closure. It's just put on by them, not us. So, anything else?
Can I ask, as businesses, do you see an increase or do you see a decrease on that weekend?
Oh, definitely an increase.
Huge increase.
Yes, huge, yes.
Because it used to be that wasn't the case.
No.
For us, it's not our busiest day of the year at Food City, but that's because no one's coming down grocery shopping and dealing with the crowds. But we aren't negatively impacted, I wouldn't say, but.
It is by far the worst weekend at the hardware store. every year, it is our worst weekend.
That is not true. I show up and I buy stuff every
We
year.
get a little bit at the morning, but it is our worst weekend.
Extension cords and hoses every year.
Yeah, that's all we sell, bungee cords, extension cords.
Get some sunscreen, get some waters, and.
A lot of people visit Pierre. Pierre gets a lot of attention.
The kitties.
All right. So before we move on, anything else from anybody for our road closures? Questions, concerns, anything we haven't thought of?
Just a question, so is this objective of tonight for this committee to make a recommendation to send back to the select board for them to amend their already approved road closure, or what are we looking
For me,
to come out of this?
this meeting for me was to invite area businesses to get everybody's input moving forward. The festival's coming up. We've not done a meeting before with all the businesses, so it's nice to get people's input just see where everybody's at so we can make informed decisions moving forward. As far as your road closure goes, I have nothing to do with that.
Okay. I guess it's a good question for Maria.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of the board, but I think that the board will most likely take into consideration the updated, and if you guys want to send me a follow-up email, I think that would be helpful that I can forward to the board. We are meeting tomorrow night.
Sure. I guess just for us, Jeff, it was Jeff and I's request, and part of it was contingent on public safety. I just want to make sure if I put something together with Jeff, public safety would like us to close the road down, like it's currently closed down, as per the selectmen's approval from last month.
My recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we'll just put something together, and then maybe we'll put a hybrid model together of some of the other additional options for handicap parking that we can send.
Yeah, I mean, I can reach out to Raquel and see if she has any ideas or thoughts on that. But, I mean, it sounds like the idea is to continue as planned for the closure.
Agreed. Yeah. So we'll put something together. Awesome.
We'll figure it out.
Thank you.
So, kind of already gone over this, but do any of you have any, like, areas of improvement, what you've seen work, doesn't work, that you want us to look into for maybe this year, if it's not too late, and future years? What's affected your business, what hasn't? Like, how can we help it be more successful for you?
Well, just kind of getting the word out about the Blueberry Festival, is, like, if we can get, like, know where to get flyers and be able to, keep ourselves stocked so we can handle the customers ahead of the festival. We had a little bit of a hard time getting them last year.
Last year, they were very last minute, because we were waiting on James, his last minute stuff, so they didn't get printed. So they were very last minute last year. Generally, I try to have them out 3 weeks in advance. If we put them out any before that, we just kind of blow through them, and they are very expensive.
People will forget.
Right, and they're still looking for them when it gets closer.
3 weeks is perfect,
Yeah.
I think.
And so I will definitely come around and give every store some like I usually do. I can leave a box here at the town office if you guys need to stop in, or you can just give me a call. My number will be on the booklet. If you need more, just let me know. Yep.
I know last year we did have a truck parked where we were supposed to be setting up for vending. And so I don't know if it's possible to make sure the road is closed somehow Saturday morning so that vehicles aren't parked there. I don't know if that, I know that messed up all the vendors. They didn't know where to set up.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
And so I know some people asked me what to do. And so we just didn't know where to set up because there was a truck in one of our spots.
Right.
So I don't know.
Technically, our road closure starts at 7 a.m. in the morning. People are not supposed to be there until that time to set up, but they don't always listen.
But that truck was there past 7.
Right. So once they get in there and park, we have a hard time.
Right.
I guess I can get with Ethan and see what we want to do about if we need to tow people, but I can try to get highway department.
Or maybe even just a sign that says, please do not park here.
Right. I can get the highway department to try to put out like no parking signs.
Yeah.
We can't block it off.
No, I didn't want it
Before
blocked
that,
off. I
so-
just wanted it to be open.
Right.
Because it was supposed to be that time for the vendors to be able to set up.
Right. It kind of happens every year. People sneak in,
Yeah.
and there's no easy way to deal with that.
Yeah.
So.
It was just something I observed that was
Yeah.
an issue.
Yeah, we've had it every year. James has had to go searching for people in the past to get them to move from in front of our stage, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see what we can do about signage, though.
Thank you.
Renee, on the flyers, I see you have here that the deadline is July 1. You need to have all the information for the flyer by July 1. And then from there, you'll have it produced by, is there a certain turnaround time?
They should have it done in a week for me. They usually do. Especially if they know it's coming and whatever.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
if we print it too soon, a lot of things tend to change and the flyers are inaccurate, so. Anything else from any of you at all? Any aspect of the festival?
I just have a quick thing.
I think we kind of I think some of us need to discuss what hours we want to be open during the Blueberry Festival, maybe come up with something that we can all be open about the same time.
together, like the stores?
Yep.
So that we can get that information to you for the flyers?
Yep, you guys can either call me or email me, it'd be best if you email all the information, but we can make sure we get it in the flyer. Or the booklet.
My only thing, vendors are all instructed where they're not supposed to park, is that correct? I mean, Food City's parking lot kind of fills up with people after they've unloaded their tents and things. They're all instructed to not park in business parking, is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, we have
Okay.
specific vendor parking, Franklin Savings Bank.
Oh, is that
allows
where they're
us-
parking? Okay.
Yep.
Last year it wasn't much of an issue, so I'm assuming that's where
Yeah,
they're
we have
instructed.
somebody on a golf cart. They come in, they unload all their stuff, and then we follow them down and give them a ride back.
Okay.
So we do try to keep them out of your parking.
Yeah, last year was not bad. The parade, obviously, people fill in for that, and then
Right.
we deal with that later, but.
Yeah. All right, so I guess as far as, business stuff goes, if any of you have questions, anything that comes up, give me a call, email me, or let Maria know, she can forward it to me. Other than that, new business, the deadline for information to be printed in the booklet is July 1st. If, you can have all your information to me, we'll make sure it gets in the booklet and also advertised on the Blueberry Festival page as soon as you get it to me. For old business, again, volunteers is always gonna be the biggest thing. If you guys know of anybody who can even give like an hour or two, we're gonna be putting out a sign-up sheet, like through the Facebook page and probably on the town website, maybe? Okay. And, if you guys wanna direct people to that, we really need some help. Cause it's hard to pull this off with like 3 or 4 people. So, that would be great.
Renee,
Yes.
you know what might be helpful to get more volunteers is if you could break down what you need volunteers for.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna be putting out.
Like if, I may have 2 hours I could give you, but not all day. So if you
Right.
need somebody at the bounce house from 9 to 11, you might have better luck. I might be busy, Heidi. So.
I'm gonna get a bounce house if he's in the bounce house.
We'll have water there for you.
Oh, I did have a question about, food trucks. Are there gonna be food trucks downtown this year?
There'll be food trucks downtown on Saturday, in the same area by Ambition and the square, kind of where they've been in the past years. Also on Saturday, we'll have them up at Kenawatha, and during fireworks, we'll have them down at Bass Park.
Okay, yeah, because that was kind of like, we didn't have really the food trucks downtown, so everybody was going up to Bass Park. And it
So
wasn't
last
keeping
year,
people
we
downtown.
had a huge struggle with food trucks. They either didn't show up or they canceled. Some people sold their food trucks after they paid and signed up to come. Mike and I spent a bunch of time last minute reaching out, trying to find people, and even people who signed up a day or two before just didn't show up. So
So how's that going this year? Finding?
we have a lot more people interested this year
Okay.
in looking for spots, so.
Oh, awesome.
We only have so many spots downtown though, so,
Right.
but hopefully they should all be full this year. But, what did I say in the car I should have put under other business? Do you remember? All right, so if there's nothing else, I guess we'll call the meeting to an end. Thank you.